And speaking of that, man, we got Beamer, Shane Beamer, Coach Beamer, is breaking down the roster, right? Breaking down the roster. So this report has been from the Greenville News, and we're gonna talk about this real quick, shall we? As soon as I get I got it queued, right? Let's talk about this, man. It says South Carolina coach Shane Beamer had a moment to slow down since the Gamecocks beat Clemson in the final regular season game of 2022. Thanks to the NCAA's new recruiting calendar and the transfer portal, Beamer said the last 2 months have been packed to the brim for the Gamecock staff as they attempt to finish building the 23 roster. Next year's squad is nearing completion, but the team still have several outstanding high school targets who have yet to commit, headlined by five-star athlete Nicholas Harbor. Hundreds of players also remain available in the transfer portal. After being honored for beating Clemson at halftime at the Gamecocks men's basketball game against Auburn, which we'll talk about in a second, Beamer broke down where the team stands heading into the spring practice and the upcoming season, right? So, so we talked about Spencer Rattler and we talked about Juice Wells coming back, so we're not going to speak about that. So, South Carolina is also optimistic the edge rusher Jordan Statchard will be cleared to return in 23. The fifth-year senior is awaiting approval for a medical eligibility waiver from the NCAA after suffering a season-ending ACL injury in Week 2. Beamer said Statchard is fully participating in team's activities. Three of the players, center Hank Manos, offensive lineman Wyatt Campbell, and tight end Chad Terrell, all have eligibility remaining but are not expected to return. Beamer said they are not currently involved in workouts, right? Here's what Shane Beamer's biggest concern. He said, the Gamecocks are desperately lacking depth at the edge rusher entering 23. And Beamer knows it, landing Harbor alongside four-star lineman Marquise. Rams, is it Marquise? Oh, God. Rams, and Desmond Yu in the upcoming class will be a big improvement, but there's no guarantee that any of those prospects will be prepared to start against SEC competition as true freshmen. The recruiting prior to defensive end coach Sterling Lucas getting here, frankly, wasn't what it needed to be. And Sterling's done an amazing job of recruiting, Beamer said. With Jordan coming back, Terrell Dawkins coming back, and Tyreek Johnson coming back, Brian Thomas, it's time for those guys to take another step. We need more than two guys at the position. So that's something that we've got to continue to look at and evaluate. I like the guys that we have, but we need to add more depth to the room for sure, right? So our biggest concern right now is defensive tackle and defensive line, the edge rusher, especially the edge rusher. After losing, good God, after losing his name now is blanking. I'm not trying to be funny. God, what's his name? I should have not Jordan Birch. Yeah, it is Jordan Birch. Yeah, Jordan Birch. After losing Jordan Birch to Oregon, we are now facing a situation where it is what it is. With 2023, it's the transfer portal. We lose a guy, get a licking, gotta get the ticket. So, with all that being said, man, I think we'll be fine. I think that you can either go through a transfer portal and get a guy or a freshman who's looking to start immediately, may want to come and play because there's an opportunity for a freshman to really step into that role if he's ready at the defensive end. The last freshman that I seen that came in and really did damage was Jadeveon Clowney back in 2011. So let's just see what will happen and what we need to do. And let's break